that was a good point about the election. And maybe in the future, we keep that in mind for our meetings and.
We need to think about that in advance, though.
Right.
We
Yeah, I
need to have
totally
some
agree.
kind of a reminder for the November meeting, because
Totally agree with
even
you.
on off years, isn't there local elections?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
But like next year, we just have to remember in October to not have the November meeting on the second Tuesday.
Yeah, but we have
Exactly.
something.
We have to have it
we
either
don't think
before
about.
or after or
Or
something.
not.
Yeah, something's got to be different
Agree.
so that we
That
don't.
was a good point. I was like, oh, man.
I disagree. I don't know why. It's
Hmm.
7 o'clock.
Polls are closed.
Polls are closed. You had all day.
Yeah,
Plus
but
in
people-
Colorado, you get your ballot weeks ago. Mine has been cast.
But for somebody that was late, and they stopped by the polling place on the way home, or if they were poll watchers or something. I mean, there are people affected by it, so.
Well,
A couple,
Yeah.
definitely.
All
There's
right.
some volunteers are out there that
Yeah.
doing stuff, so.
Okay, I show that it's 7:01. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Sorry, we're not there. That's what I couldn't find it.
It's upside down.
Yeah. Okay, so calling the meeting to order. All board members are in attendance. Derek is via Zoom. The rest of us are in person. I make a motion that we approve the agenda for this meeting.
second.
Third, fourth.
Okay, Corey's in favor. Derek, you good with that? Derek, are you there?
Apparently not.
Well, we seem to have lost Derek for a moment, but 4 of the 5 have approved the agenda, so it carries.
Okay.
Sorry, I was getting my power cord.
Oh, okay. So.
I approve.
Okay,
Okay, so there's
okay.
5 of them then.
So as far as approval of the previous minutes, I make a motion to approve the previous minutes.
Second.
Okay, Corey seconds. Robin
Agree.
and Chris are in favor. You good with that, Derek?
I'm good with that.
Okay. Okay, your special business, budget committee, Carissa and Corey, do we have anything to talk about prior to the hearing later?
I have nothing to talk about.
Okay. Recreation committee, Derek or Robin, do you have anything to bring up?
Not at this time. I don't.
No. It came up, Bruce, you sent us a thing about a cross-country skiing idea. And so I'm not sure if your board members had a chance to hear about that or weigh in on it, but is that something you all?
I just forwarded that to the recreation committee for a little bit of input, and I didn't feel that there was sufficient interest in that too, so I did not agendize it.
You know, what we could do is probably offer Steve an opportunity at the next meeting to put his idea forward and see what everybody else thinks about that. Maybe see if he's interested in presenting it to everybody. I think that would be fair.
You haven't provided a map of where he wants to put this whole thing.
Details and stuff, as much as, you know, what the impact would be and who's gonna do the upkeep on it. And it will be, you know, people will be walking on it and.
I mean, I live on the lake and I walk every day, and when there's enough snow, we get probably 1% of cross-country skiers.
We don't get many.
Yeah,
I agree.
and I like it because they mat it down. You get it for the snow, it's easier to walk, but the upkeep, and I know up in Vice, the northern cross-country ski people, because we walk up there too. And they don't like that we walk with the dog, so we have to choose a different trail than where they set tracks. So I see that as a big problem.
Potentially, yeah. But we can give him the offer and
Absolutely.
see what he says.
Sure.
Reach out to him and
Yeah,
say
good.
thank you and
Any ideas? Good.
Let him feed his case and
Yeah,
maybe that'd be
got
good.
answers.
So Derek, are you and Robin in agreement with that we can invite Steve to discuss it with the board next meeting?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like I pointed out to Bruce, I mean, it has nothing to do with Steve at all. It's just, I think we opened up Pandora's box with granting residents permission to alter common grounds, do things like that. I mean, we had the issue with the Frisbee golf contraptions being set up and no one really knew about it. And so I think I just thought back to that and I thought, man, I don't want to keep encouraging the precedent of just, hey, you want to do something in a common area? Go take care of it yourself. That's fine. It's cool. I think that's a bad precedent to set.
Well, I guess we are discussing this a little bit at the moment. The question I have is anything going to be modified, or is it just like somebody goes out and walks and they
That
start?
needs to be presented. I have no idea.
Okay.
We don't have any answers to that. We need more information. And I think that's what I responded. We need more
So
information.
whether you
to move
guys
forward.
contact him and bring something to the board, or whether we invite him to talk to us, I guess we need more information.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
I
that's
agree
fine
with
with
what Pat's saying too. It's not a free for all for anybody just to decide, well, let's do, whatever.
But certainly we wouldn't want permanent modifications done, but
Or
just
have-
making tracks in the snow.
Or creating more maintenance for our
Yeah,
workers and stuff,
right. So that's why I guess we do need.
or any
details.
liabilities.
Okay. So anything else from the recreation committee then?
No, not this time.
Okay, and as for the personnel committee, I don't believe we have anything. So there's nothing on that either. So does anybody in the audience have any comments or questions that they want addressed?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Julie, go ahead.
Yeah, it seems that there is a lot of trash coming out lately and a lot of complaints about the 3 bins being full. I'm just wondering, I know you guys were doing a lot of the budget. Does that need to be considered in the budget to have more emptying from the main trash people? Is that what the problem is? Because, it just seems to be kind of going on and on.
I can address that. Well, we did have a problem that the previous, not this last weekend, but the previous 2 weekends, we didn't get our Friday bin. They didn't take the old one out and put the new one in. There was, I guess, large events both those weekends, and so it was completely out of control. I think this weekend was better because we did get the normal thing. So just in general, that garbage area is a problem, but it was particularly bad the previous like 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago. So I think that may be what you're talking about, but that's because we did not get our normal replacement on Friday that would have had an empty one. So it was a big chore. They did not let us know either. We were unaware of it, and we called, and then they, they had a big event on, I think Dayfield had one of those. So they took ours and gave them over there. And then I think there was another one in Ignacio the next weekend. And so we just didn't get our normal allotment. So I think that was part of the problem, but it's still a problem even regardless because of the open tops and the wind blow it, bears and other animals get in there and throw it all over the place. So it's something I've been looking at for months now to try and come up with a different option for that. I don't have one yet, but anyway, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was full. All 3 of them were full again this weekend on Saturday. So, and you could, if a lot of people were coming in with a lot of stuff, that's gonna cause another problem. I was just gonna bring it up, maybe it needs to be brought to the budget to have them do more. And if they're not doing their job, are we getting some kind of compensation back? Because they're not.
Well, we won't be paying for those normal, what they call pulls for those 2 weekends. So, and I'm thinking off the top of my head, I think they're like $450 each time, something like that. So we won't be paying that because we didn't get the service, but
Okay.
Are they off starting?
I think it's like the last 3 weeks, we haven't had all 3 of our polls.
oh, even last weekend?
Yeah, that's what Tim told me too. We didn't get one
I
Friday
stand
either.
corrected then.
Yeah,
So-
We can either. been a holiday on Friday.
Well, they may still be working.
Veterans Day.
We're not, but the trash company might be. I don't know.
It's not
You know,
necessarily.
if they're gonna continue to do this, we need to address that with them. make
Oh,
sure
I-
it's-
I-
Okay.
Calls are in.
Okay.
Not getting answers back, but the calls have been made.
It's an area-wide deal. We have the same issue with the trash company.
Oh, they're saying they don't have that problem.
We have the same problem.
Thank you, Julie.
Sure.
Is
I do-
anybody-
I do have one more thing. I'm just curious if Forest Lakes, I know you have on your website different informational links and things like that, but it seems like there's a lot of new people or renters, people that are coming in and don't know how the roads are plowed or how they're fixed, like during the winter, 2 inches of snow and then you start plowing. I just think maybe some more information for people in Forest Lakes might help
Yeah.
with all these questions and all this bad rap that is coming out on Facebook. What happens if you find a deer? What do you do with it? Just little things like that that people really don't know about.
Okay.
Bruce is taking some notes, look into that. Thank you, Julie.
Father gives you every single day in a different time of way. You have to broaden and also solution. Thank you. That's Reverend Leah Daughtry, former CEO of the Democratic.
Someone I think needs to put themselves on mute.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna bring in our
Jamie, can you handle that? Jimmy Tolson, put him on mute. We're
Were they
getting,
talking to us?
Yep,
Or-
got it.
Yeah, I can see she's got it. Okay.
okay, thank you.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
are there any other questions or comments? Okay. I believe that's it for the public comments. It's time for the reports. Manager's report is first, Bruce.
Thank you very much. Let's start out with the ever-present financial system upgrade. It's actually much better, but we're still on probably a daily basis. Things come up, just not as severe. We're functioning. Shauna and Jamie are doing a great job of troubleshooting this and they're calling them every day about various things, but they're realistically, they're fine tuning now a lot of stuff. So that's the good news, but there's still issues.
Is it a learning thing or is it a programming issue?
It's a learning thing, learning that nobody told us kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, hey, can you do this? Or, oh yeah, if you do X, Y, and Z, well, nobody told us.
Right, okay.
The training part of it, just,
Okay.
so they're working through it. It's smoother, but there's still ongoing issues and there probably will be. I'm hoping, hopefully by the end of the year that we have the overwhelming majority of those kind of worked out so that we can, start the new year, new budget, and it goes smoothly, is my hope. They seem to be doing, like I said, a great job of getting through these things now, so happy about that. Next item is the emergency access road. We actually, Upper Pine Fire has gotten 2 grants to do some work up there. The first one was a $10,000 grant, and with that we cut down some trees and widened some curves, and we put a lot of gravel up there, and that's basically done. They were up there, they flew a drone last week because they did it before and after, so that when they submit, they can show the grantor what they did. And so that'll be going on. The second one is the fire mitigation one that they got kind of the tail end of somebody else's grant or something that they didn't use all the money. So they said, hey, can you use it? And they're going to use it up there too in the same area. And they'll be selectively going through and identifying trees and then cutting it down. They'll be like logging them. So there'll be logging equipment. In fact, I just got a text from Paul today that they'll start moving equipment probably tomorrow. And we'll probably start next week sometime.
They're gonna be out before snowfall.
It's supposed to rain on Wednesday, or
Yeah.
tomorrow, but no snow, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
Up
if
to
they
them.
burn during the snow, that's the safest,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know. so
yeah, I think
that
that's
would
the
work
game
out.
plan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
has he said how long he thinks that mitigation will take? Is it a 2-week deal?
probably. Yeah, that was actually the number that was thrown out. We were up there last week or the week before. We all walked around. We had the state, I'm not sure his title, but he was the State Forest Service. Paul Valdez, the logger, and me, we all walked through and so they were identifying spots that they were gonna put the slash piles and burn and some other things. And I, looking at the different trees, things I didn't know about, you know, in terms of trees split, they want to get rid of those. Why, I don't know, but they do. And other things, so certainly there's certain trees that they want to get, especially the ones that are,
Healthy trees, yeah.
yeah, that have
Yeah.
bark beetle, they want to get those down. And so they kind of have a pretty good idea, and it's gonna be kind of along the houses there. It's about a 10-acre area, so they'll be going through there. But yeah, anyway, to answer your question, yes, they anticipated approximately 2 weeks, barring some big delay of some kind. But if they're able to do what they want to do, ballpark about 2 weeks.
So if they start next week, they may be done around Thanksgiving,
Sounds like it, yeah.
okay?
So,
Well, and I saw that you've got that posted on the website too, the map and everything too, so that's very good.
yeah, they're gonna, actually, Paul's at a conference, he's gonna, next week, he's gonna go door to door and on the homes around there, he's gonna hang things on it too, to let everybody know that that's happening. So we kind of got in front of it a little bit, and they're gonna do the door to door thing.
Very good, thank you.
Okay. Okay, next item, not a good thing. Our recreation center has been broken into for a second time. Gentleman came in the end of last week and said, I think it wasn't. I go, well, it had been before and whatever, but he goes, okay. But then I go, I better go check. So I did. I went in there, 2 more windows are broken. There was a couple coffee pots that they threw and smashed, and bulletin board torn down, more graffiti. And anyway, I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, had the window guy out yesterday, so he gave us a quote. There are 2 new broken windows, so we have a total of 6 broken windows, and I'm waiting to get a quote on that. And we'll start processing. Sheriffs will probably be out tomorrow to look at it again, let them know, talk to them again today.
How
Yeah.
much is plywood? Plywood on windows? We're not
Boarded
using
up.
the windows, boarded up,
Yeah, it's about literally, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know what plywood's going for these
Not
days.
that plywood, right, the sheet, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's gone through the roof, but something better now. And we got to lock, we got to do a little better job of locking the door. So I think we'll just put a clasp over, put like a master lock on it. So because we initially, the first sheriff's deputy thought that they had access through the door, prying it open in some way, shape or form. So if we put a lock on the outside, that'll eliminate, we'll have the keys and as well as the combination on the regular door.
Cameras up.
We have those. We need some other hardware to make those all work, which I am exploring. And we'll need for here too.
Well, so it sounds like we still probably need to pursue getting the windows, but
Yeah.
we should, I think that may be a good idea to explore the option of boarding it up until such time as we decide what we're ultimately gonna do with it.
By the way, I did put some money in the budget to have that reassessed.
Good.
So at least get more information on that. We had our grant writer out last week or 2 weeks ago, and went over with Rick, our engineer, the district's engineer, went over every capital project that we had and discussed them pretty lengthily. Took her out for a tour, showed her all where the various water tanks are, sewer treatment plant, and pumps and everything else. So she has a good physical understanding of what it was. And in fact, today I got kind of a first cut at some stuff that we'll go through, make some changes. And so that's starting. So that's the good news. We just got to kind of dial it in a little bit better.
That's a historic building. Maybe we could get a grant because it's a historic building.
How are you defining historic building?
Age? The age of it? The age,
But
the
what is it?
architecture.
Is this a state or a federal?
Remember that guy loved the architecture? I'm
Yeah.
just saying, maybe there is a grant out there for.
Well, let me write that
was
down.
that one guy, so I
I
don't know
know,
whether
but
it would
he was-
qualify, but somebody needs
I
to
know.
look at whether it would.
Right,
Yeah, I don't think it's that old, actually,
okay,
but
This historic significance,
there might be, I'm not sure what the age of that
Yeah.
was, there is. Look at
That's
that.
what
we
I asked
have a-
him,
date on the,
Well, it had to have been probably right around sometime in the mid-70s, I'm guessing.
The seventies is when they started doing this area, so.
Right, but was that when they put that in? They didn't, that wasn't there before.
It might have been there
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
It might have been before they put residents and stuff in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
I don't
know,
know.
all right.
but we're checking into for sure.
yeah.
Okay, next one, mail stop. We got the new locker. We don't have it up yet, but we'll probably get that in this week. All right, Trevor, maybe.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I had the postmaster out. She showed us where she wanted it. There's a couple that have some doors that have been ripped off that we can't replace, or that we can't replace the door. So we're gonna take those out and then we'll just purchase additional ones that go in their spots. And the reality is what the postmaster said, especially during Christmas time, is that there's not enough of those package lockers and that they run out of space, and that so then people have to go down to Bayfield. So if we could, we're going to work with them on that. We'll try and increase the number to make it more convenient for everybody to do that. So, but those are fairly expensive. So we'll try and manage that, but we're going to have 4 more, and then I think I'll get I think the ones that have the door ripped off have just 2 in them. I might replace that, and just put it right back in the same spot. But that was good to meet the postmaster and have that discussion about a variety of things over there. So that's going well. They'll have to put the locks in, which is interesting. They come without locks, and the post office has to put them on. They have their own locks that they use. So once we get it in there, we'll let her know. She'll come down or send someone down to put the locks in there.
Huh.
Yeah, kind of interesting, but I get it. You think through it.
Yeah.
You can't, it's the US mail, so.
Right, yeah, go with it.
I never thought of it either until it came up, but anyway. And I want to talk, lastly, we had our first snow, and so that raises some issues in terms of what you can and can't do here in Forest Lakes. First thing that everyone needs to remember and know is there's no parking on the roads. It's not permitted. If you do, you possibly could get a ticket. Oh, there's a typo.
By who?
Me. It's on my report. I spelled sheriff wrong. Oh, there's 2 of them. Oh my God. Sorry. He might give you a warning. He might give you a ticket. He might tow you. That's going to be kind of the situation. So just so everyone is completely aware. The second issue is with snow plowing, that's considered, I don't have the exact code section, so I'm not going to say definitively, but like an emergency vehicle, if you get in the way, like passing it or doing other things, or if they hit your car, as a government entity, we're immune from being sued. So we're not going to fix your car. There are some few exceptions. I mean, if the plow driver was drunk or something, yeah, you might get things. But under normal situations, we're going to be immune from any kind of lawsuit for that because, first of all, there's no parking, and number 2, you're interfering with the snowplow. The other thing along those same lines that I don't have the section on, but my understanding is from talking to several people is that if in fact the snowplow did hit your car and damage it, and of course you couldn't sue us, so you go to your insurance company, the insurance company will deny it because you were not parking where you weren't supposed to park and you're interfering with a snowplow, and so all the repairs are going to be on you. Your insurance won't even cover it. Just something to think about. Even though I'm not 100% sure on those last couple items.
Might want to put something like on the utility bills, remind everybody, no parking on the road, particularly in.
It is, it's
wintertime.
going out of the next one.
Perfect. Ah,
And on the website.
Well, I'm gonna post these 2 things
Okay,
about snow removal and those.
Very good.
These are from State of Colorado. It's state law. It's not Forest Lake stuff, even though it is, but it's state law, and they'll go up on the website.
So can you clarify right away, because some people park, they may not be in the main throughway, but they park on the shoulder, right where the snow needs to be moved, and when we come through and we got wings and stuff on our equipment,
Mhm.
they're in the way. So can we make sure people understand what right of way means? Does that mean all metro property? They have to be on private property? You cannot park on the metro property?
That's correct.
Okay.
You have to park your vehicles on your private property, not anywhere on the roads. Our right of ways are typically, correct me, Trevor, there, some of them are bigger than that, some are 60.
Oh,
60,
Huh?
60.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're pretty wide, so you need to kind of know where they're at, and we need to be able to move that snow to the side. And so I just beg everybody to just cooperate and just do it. It may not be convenient. And I'm sorry, it's just the law. The other thing I wanted to mention, and it's on this flyer, it says snow removal in the driveway. It's illegal to push your snow, if it gets pushed in your driveway, back out on the street. So don't do it. You're supposed to create room on your property for the snow that gets in front of your driveway that our plow puts there. Whether you think it's fair or not, that's up to you. That's what the state law says.
Or don't push it across the street, making the road smaller for everyone who has to go past.
Yeah.
Neighbor.
Anyway, that would concludes my report. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them, and I'm embarrassed about these two.
And they're
typos.
they're going by and putting all the manhole cover posts and stuff that, the hazards for the plows and stuff, that's already been done too. I mean, well, it hasn't on my road yet, but
Trevor?
where they mark the
Oh, for
hazards.
the sewer manholes?
Well, we're having a hard time hearing you. I mean, it's all crackly.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if it's you or
I'll
us.
repeat it. Putting like markers for like manhole covers and fire hydrants and stuff like that. You know how you flag them so that they don't get hit by the plows? There's a couple that are down, at least on Little Bear Drive.
I'll take a look at it.
Okay, yeah, just go have a look at that.
Looks like somebody's on chat.
No, I don't know what that means. I mean, in terms of help, whether that does that, I don't know.
I don't know how we can.
No, I don't know, and last time we had to switch it over to the TV audio.
I'm
afraid. Somebody's gonna,
So go to the left side where it says mute,
Yeah,
see what happens when you click the.
click the arrow.
okay, let me go to the,
Comment area?
well, we want the microphone coming from here, which, I mean, the speaker, excuse me.
Wouldn't you just go to the comments and tap on the
No,
comments?
we're trying to fix the speaker issue. We had this
Oh.
last time, got all crackly, and we had to switch over to the,
TV
TV deal.
speaker.
And I'm trying to figure out which is the TV here on the speaker.
Pretty sure it's that one.
This one? So speakers, headphones, Real Tech.
No, I'm sorry, go down. It's that 6.5, I think it's that one.
Okay, try and talk now, Trevor.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
That's better.
It's coming out of the TV, so now I just gotta kind of, where volume needs to be up a little bit, but do you know where that is?
Yeah, they're ready.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got the control right here.
Duh. Yeah, she's good.
There, he's got it.
Okay, now say something, Trevor.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, okay, good.
All right,
Thank you.
perfect.
There, good team.
I needed a little bit louder than that. I'm
Okay.
getting old.
And then we have somebody that's got a message in the chat box.
Oh,
I don't see a volume. though. I don't
It's
know.
almost-
can you see that, Jamie, with the chat box messages?
Over there.
Flyers?
Yes, I can. It looks like Julie suggested for the rec center that we board up the windows.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe
Okay.
the window company might have cheaper plywood. you know, they do
Yeah.
that probably all the time, but.
Yep.
Okay, so any other comments on the manager's report? If not, we will move on to the office manager and administration's report. Jamie?
All righty. Hello, everyone. So it looks like we had 5 real estate requests, 18 title requests, 5 shut-off notices, 28 friendly reminders mailed out, and 8 lien releases. We are still answering several phone calls regarding the rate increases and the new bills and et cetera. Barb completed the lien process and prepared the resolution and affidavit to be signed within the board packet this evening. As far as Cassell, all the software programs are running a little bit smoother with fewer issues. We are still spending a lot of time updating information that didn't pull over at all or didn't pull over correctly. About half the residents who were previously using Payport to make their payments have transitioned to Invoice Cloud at this time. We anticipate no longer using Payport within the next few months. I would like to encourage everyone to please call into the office or email to update your contact information so that Cassell and Invoice Cloud services can be utilized efficiently. I have, let's see, workers' comp, property and casualty renewals have been submitted and waiting approval. I'm currently working on the health insurance renewal and anticipating an increase in premium on all the renewals. Colorado para will also increase 0.06% effective January. And that's all for now.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. Any
You're
comments
welcome.
on that? Okay, maintenance. I guess you're up, Trevor.
All right, am I coming in clear now?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So we installed another water tap on Hillside Circle. And I know we had kind of talked about this last meeting, but we got all the old pond covers removed. I guess not all of them, but about 80% of them, of our damaged covers removed off of pond 1, and got our new hex pad installed on there. And so far those are working great. We got all the duckweed cleaned off of pond 4. And we hauled some 3-inch gravel there on the fire escape road. And I guess we got, what did we get, 4 more loads, Bruce?
Yes.
Okay, that we'll go ahead and hopefully we'll get those other 4 loads put on later this week. Then we've been digging some trenches out there by our solar project, digging those for the power lines. Let's see, we did our water tank inspections last month. And everything checked out good on those. And we hauled the rest of our 3-inch in there on Snowbird Court. So we finally got that whole road at least capped with some 3-inch now. We ended up having to replace a broken manhole on Forest Lakes Drive. The lid actually just gave out, and luckily someone came and told us about it, so we got that fixed. And yeah, it was a straight up hole, and the guy in the motorcycle came by and was nice enough to tell us, hey man, there's a big hole there.
They're not fun to fish out.
Yeah. Let's see, and then we've been continuing to clean out culverts as well. And then keeping up with road and equipment maintenance and our on-call ops. Continuing to do meter swaps and meter reads and read reads. Dealing with some excavation permits and also some more utility locates. As far as the status of our fleet, we're still up and running on all those. And no incidences.
Yay.
Good job.
Okay, that up.
Yeah, if I could just chime in real quickly, we get called out to these utility locates like almost every day, and we don't get paid for that, so it's a lot of staff time running out there doing that, and sometimes having to do it twice because something, the reason, so it's one of those things that you don't think about it too much, but it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And there's been times when they've had like 5 or 6 in one day. That's usually then 2 guys going out doing it, trying to do it. It's like, it's one of the things that you don't hear about, but it takes a ton of time.
Have you attempted to quantify that we in the budget, whether this year or in the future, we may be able to account for that?
No, you can't charge for it.
It's a free service that
Yeah.
has to be offered.
Well, like it comes ever high because we're paying labor for
Oh.
the people that are going and doing it.
He's
We're
saying,
paying
oh,
fuel.
In
Just
the
accounting
budget,
for it?
not a.
Yeah, I'm just
expense.
saying in the budget,
Mhm.
since we're paying people to do it,
Mhm.
whether we can charge, that's not the issue. I'm not
Okay.
saying can we charge somebody.
You want
I'm
to
saying,
capture it.
is it significant enough that we need a budget, a line item in the budget?
Probably not,
Okay.
but it's on certain days and weeks sometimes.
Noted.
It's, you got Trevor and Tim out doing them, like I said, they sometimes get 5 or 6 in a day. It's like, oh my gosh, and and it's not just always in front of wherever it is, they gotta go other places, and so it's a little more involved than sometimes you think. But I just wanted to mention it because he kind of glossed over it, but it's a bigger deal when time-wise than you can think.
What program are you guys using to tractor locate? Like we use web PMS.
I don't even know if we're using,
I couldn't quite hear you, Corey. What'd you say?
are we using a program to track the locates? They said they use some program, and
It's called web PMS. I was just curious.
It's just all through 811. So I just have to post a response that we marked it, or, it's clear, no conflict, or.
Being one of those people that did call this summer for a locate, you guys were one of the first ones out. So I think
Yeah.
we're supposed to give you 3 or 5 days, and you guys
Yep.
were out that afternoon. So
Yep.
we didn't need it that soon, but, so don't feel like, I don't know if when they come in, it has to be done right away, because we couldn't do anything until the other utilities came out. But
Right.
thank you very much. for doing that.
Yeah, there is a date on there. It says, when it's due by, so we have to make sure it's at least marked by the end of that due date.
Yeah, I have a couple questions for you, Trevor. I talked about the goop on the roads before, okay? Mark's on my car, he knows now why we have to wash it right after we drive through the goop.
Mhm.
But the last time you gooped the evacuation road, just hang with me a second. Our road came out and just on the tires, made it drier quicker, there was dirt on it. Is there a step we can add after you goop it without negating what that is good for, to put a little dusting of dirt on top of it so it isn't sloshy?
No, I think if we did that, it would just fall apart.
It would just fall apart, okay.
Yep.
Okay. At the corner of Alpine Forest and Pine Valley, Alpine Forest dead ends into Pine Valley.
Mhm.
Someone dumped a load of dirt. And I just don't want someone to hit it at a high speed. Can you go?
Did that happen today?
Yeah,
Yep, I thought I saw something there. So
okay.
I believe there was a modular that was being moved in today.
And that,
Yep.
right after they went up the road, yes. half a
Yeah,
hour.
I think their trailer must have clipped it or something, and
Okay.
it kind of gouged it. So
Yeah.
we'll have to go back and we'll fix that and back
a
drag it.
little. Yeah, I don't want a motorcycle to hit it.
Yep.
Okay, also, on this next couple loads, going to the evacuation road, I noticed that you didn't do anything to the upper gate of the evacuation road. We have 2 gates, so the higher one up on the hill, we didn't do anything to that road.
Correct.
Can we was there a reason?
Well, that,
Okay.
they didn't, that wasn't part of the grant that they
Okay.
wanted done.
Okay.
So not that we can't
Can't
do
do
something,
it. Okay,
and we probably will do a little, and we did do a little bit, actually. We didn't bring
Okay.
gravel up there, but we
Yeah.
did clear some of the edges a little bit.
okay,
So, but yeah, it was their grant, so we said, we'll take whatever, and they want to do
Oh,
that lower for
absolutely.
it. So
Okay.
that's the rationale on that.
yeah, okay, all right, thank you.
You
Thanks
betcha.
for clean water and sewers that don't climb.
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Financial report, Bruce.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, let's just go over a couple of the things we have. Our property tax, we're 99.3% collected. So that's good of the levy property tax. So I'm not sure if we may get another payment from the county. If it is, it's not going to be for very much. If we do, it'll probably be in December. I'm not sure when it comes in. I'm going to jump down to general fund year to date. We're at 88% on the revenue side, for 820,000. Water fund is at 69%, or 627,000, and sewer is about 452,000, or 67%. That's on the revenue side. Expenses, general fund, we're at 84%, so we're about 4% ahead. And water, we're at 54% expenditures. Still in the black there, and the sewer fund, we're also at 57%, and so we're doing okay there. That sewer one kind of bothers me because it's so low, because we should be at 83%. So we're on the revenue side, we're only at 67, and water is only 69, but we've got 2 more months to come in for water bill, so it may catch up. So we'll see, but we're still have more revenue in than we've spent so far, and I anticipate that to be continued through the end of the year. I think,
That's good.
yeah. I think so. We've been managing that budget tightly to try and make sure that nothing happens here, so we can have. And we're gonna have some left over, is the reality, is because some of those capital projects that we just couldn't get done. That we haven't finished, some of the ones that they budgeted some money for us that we will carry over, and I'll discuss that in the CIP stuff to next year. You know, we're not gonna throw it just back into fund balance. We're gonna identify that as money that's been budgeted this year. It'll be set up in its own account, and then hopefully next year we'll be able to come back and fund some more. And by then we'll have a little more information regarding grants, possibly on some of these things as well. But
Earmarked for the same project.
exactly, the only time you would take out or put money back into fund balance is if you cancel the project. Then it's like, okay, it's canceled, goes back to fund balance. If you don't cancel it, you carry that money forward. At least that's a good accounting practice, because otherwise you'll never accumulate enough money if you don't, because it'll just go back into fund balance and you reallocate some again. So you take it, you earmark it, it's going to go to that project and it can't be spent. So that's how we're going to do it. I don't know if that's been done in the past, but that's what we're going to do now.
So how confident are we on these numbers? I mean, these numbers just don't look right. 57% this time of year and 67% income. And it just seems awful low.
Like I said, because of some of those capital projects we didn't do.
Oh, that's what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, some of the water and stuff and sewers things, just those are some big projects that they allocated funds for.
Okay.
That we're not gonna do. So I know what you're saying. It looks odd, and it is, but that's why. I mean, we've got, let's see here. 25,000 to remove an abandoned PRV or Pine Rivers, that's 25,000. We put in 24,500 for a pressure relief valve. Well, the emergency generator, put 100,000 in, but we're gonna spend some of that money this year. We're gonna carry forward money for the sledge removal, 85,000 for that Lake Simpatico for the pipe. We didn't spend that.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so that,
there's
that's,
just-
That makes more sense.
yeah, and that's why, yeah.
Okay.
Those are some big ticket items that artificially makes that look lower, but we're just not gonna get to those projects.
So
And
since we're carrying some of that money forward, next year it could look just the opposite. Because
well,
we're spending some of it carried forward,
right,
but it's gonna be expensed next year,
correct.
potentially, okay.
It'll be like the snow, the trucks.
Yeah,
They allocated, they budgeted this year 85,000.
right,
We didn't spend it, but they went up $10,000 and we're getting another one. So we're carrying that 85 from this year's to next year's budget when we get them.
so when
So-
they're expended next year, when those funds are expended, then we're gonna see a big hit.
Right, and then
So-
that project will go off the boards too.
Gotcha.
Uh,
All right, that answered that question.
Okay.
Anybody else have any other questions?
How does Leslie feel about her finances?
She was just helping me do the budget.
Okay,
So we haven't gotten it. I haven't gotten her crank. I need to get Jamie and everybody needs to get comfortable with what they're doing
okay,
and work out the kinks before I start. Somebody else would also, oh no, this is wrong or this doesn't work. So
okay,
I don't expect to have her really involved probably until the beginning of the year because
Okay.
we need to work out this stuff without them having to help and just gonna hopefully start the new year with, and we'll have a different reporting system and all stuff like that.
Okay.
But I haven't gotten her involved, but intentionally. So because of all the problems and I don't want to put any more responsibilities on them to help her through at this point when they're still learning it themselves and there's multiple issues.
I'm biding my time for now, but once we get her in and we've had time to settle down the Casella issues, I'd really like to see about, we talked about those line charts. I'd really like, it's so hard for me to go back and forth between lines and try to figure out, how it's tracking. If we
Okay.
could just have a line chart that I can see expended versus budgeted versus the money we've taken in for each of the accounts and maybe for overall. That would work wonders for me. help
Okay.
me Comprehend what's happening there.
Yeah.
But I'm just giving you a heads up that come January, I'm gonna start asking to see if we can get some kind of chart
I gotcha.
that's a little easier to follow.
Okay. Get back to water. We, in October, we pumped 3.9 million gallons. So which is up about 500 gallons from the month before, which is, it sounds like a lot to us, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like nothing. So we're doing, we're still in line, especially with previous years, that same month. Last year, we we're at 3.5. 2020, we're at 5 million, 3.5 in 19 and 3.6 in 18. So we're in the ballpark. I think that's nothing abnormal there. But please save your water.
Okay,
Always.
any other comments or questions on finances? Okay.
Good there.
I believe there's any unfinished business. So we'll move on to new business. And so I'm going to open a public hearing for the draft 2023 budget. And we will give the floor to the budget committee and Bruce to discuss it briefly. And after they've done that, then I will open the floor for any comments. And so the floor is yours, Bruce.
But we want to have anything? We're in. Okay. First of all, the budget is balanced. We've not had to use any funds from reserves. I would call it a static budget in general. I mean, if you're going to generalize it, Part of that has to do with deferring a number of capital projects, some of the ones we just talked about from this year. And they won't do it next year either because of some other ones that we need to do, such as the gravel, some of the trucks we needed to do. So some of those other ones that we set some money aside, which we will keep set aside, and hopefully we'll get back around to it in 2024 budget.
So there's no chances of bringing grant money in?
There is possibly, and if for some reason we are able to do that, then sure.
Okay, so.
But I've not budgeted any money for some of those.
Okay,
It would, other than what's been budgeted this year,
okay,
no new money, let's put it that way.
okay,
Because we needed the large amount for the gravel, the 150,000, the trucks for the 190. And then-
You're prioritizing the projects.
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise we wouldn't be able to do it. So with that being said, we had to defer, yes. Let also make clear that there was a couple of things that we put in order to build this budget. We were calculated in. We have a 10% rise on the sewer and water that happened this year, and it will happen again next year on September 1st. Additionally, we anticipate road fees going from $13.50 to $20 a month, and the mailbox is going from $2.50 to $5 a month. That's what this is predicated on, as well as a 5% cost of living increase for the staff, excluding the manager. So that's some of the premises that this was designed and built on. So with that, on our general fund, it calcs out to $1,129,214, and expenditures the same. That's up $121,000, a little more than that, or about 14%. That increase realistically all comes from the road maintenance increase. A little bit comes from the mailbox, but that's only $2.50 a month. But other than that, it would, if we didn't do that, our budget would probably be smaller, general fund wise. And let me also just specifically mention this because it's become such a big deal. Our road department, which includes the road maintenance as well as snow removal, that budget, the operating budget alone this year was $446,000. That's what was budgeted. It was also budgeted this year for revenue side of $191,000. So as you can see, there's a large differential in terms of funding that particular operation. Hence why we're thinking of raising it, because it needs to offset it. Even that increase will not offset completely the budget of that road department. It's going to help, but it's not going to offset the cost that we put into that. And that's a big deal. Our recreation department, the budget is down about $8,000. Admin is down about $29,000. And overall, the biggest cost in our general fund is our capital projects, which in this case are gravel, which is $150,000. We're going to have to mine that and crush it. We're going to have to get 2 new snow plows. They're $190,000 or $95,000 each, and a lig truck, which we're not going to buy a new one, but we budgeted $50,000 because that broke down last year and caused us not to be able to do roads for about 2 weeks, which caused a big problem. That truck is, I think, mid-1980s, as well as the overwhelming majority of our fleet is in that range, late 70s to the 80s. I don't think we have, especially those large plow trucks, they're from the 70s and 80s too. I mean, they're just hanging in there. So we've really got to spend some money on that stuff because it's such a big part of what happens here, whether it's maintaining the roads or snow plowing and other things. So those are 2 big big items that account for the increase in the general fund, otherwise it'd be less. So let me switch over to the water budget. As I said, we are anticipating this year, it went in a month late, it went in October because of financial problems. Otherwise, it would have been on September 1, that 10%, and there will be another 10% increase on September of 2023. Overall, that budget is down about $150,000 from this year. As we're trying to manage that down, again, a lot of this is our capital projects, and we just didn't have the revenue to do that, to continue to fund that. Staffing wise, it's the same. We don't anticipate any additional staffing or increases or decreases for that matter. So it's static in that regard. So it's going to be a very austere budget. If that's the way I look at it, because there's not really much we're going to be doing on the capital side. On the water department, we're going to do some part of they're going to fund part of the generator project, so $37,000. Again, that Lake Simpatico, that outflow, 50,000 is coming out of the water fund this year to go to, in addition to the 85 was budgeted this year. We're putting forward 50,000 more in the next year's budget to build up some capital in there, depending on if we don't get a grant. That's going to be a big project. So we've got to continue to put money towards certain things, but that one's, we're going to be on the clock on that pretty soon. Having talked to the dam inspector, $1,000 for a flume, we're going to get that. And then the other capital project was the meter replacement, so $20,000 in the budget for that. And so we didn't put any money into the other things such as water tanks, pressure relief valves, not that they don't need to be done, because they do. And we've got money set aside, started to, but we need to continue to build those so that we can hopefully get grant funding, but we will have to have matches. I looked, as I said, the grant writer sent me a draft of it today, and most of those are like 50% matches that she's looking at. Well, if it's $1 million project, we're going to have $500,000. So we'll continue to put money into that as we can. We're not going to lose sight of that, but some of these other ones we have to do gravel. We gotta maintain those roads. What I say, the draft is on the water budget is $758,950 planned on this draft budget. Okay, moving to sewer, same thing, 10% increase this year and another 10 next year on September 1st. This budget is about $100,000 less than this year's. Same reasons, CIP programs that we're not funding that were funded this year, and we're just trying to be very austere. Some of the capital projects they're funding, sewer is that generator project, $37,000. The manhole sealing, $15,000, and the snow plow replacement, $20,000. They're helping out with that. So as I said, about $103,000 less than this year's budget. I think I mentioned most of the capital projects. Some of the things we're not funding this year are security fencing around the water infrastructure. So the tanks, PRVs, things like that. GIS mapping program, 8-inch line extension on Pine Valley Road, the abandoned PRV at River Ranch, the new tank on Blue Ridge, pressure relief valve are not getting funded. Just those alone, those last two are 1.2 and $1.25 million. So we're not putting any money towards that. We're going for the generator project this year. We're budgeting some. We're going to do sludge removal again. The dam pipe replacement, flume, the gravel crush, again, 150,000 on that. Meter replacement, that'll be an ongoing one. It probably in perpetuity, it may not be at that level, but there's always meters that have to be replaced. They break. We had one leaking. They found, I think Monday, they found some water and it was actually the meter itself was leaking. It had, I think it was up on Blue Ridge where they had that fire. So we think it was a surge when the fire opening or closing, and it kind of blew the meter and broke the plastic piece off and it was leaking away. So it's just maintenance, normal, well, not necessarily normal, but it happens. So that one had to be replaced. And so as we find those, and as well as old ones that, you know, just aren't working as well as they should. So that's going to be kind of something that's going to be there probably all the time, because we've got 800 something meters. So if we replace even a fraction of them each year, you know, at $20,000. How much, Trevor, do you know how much those cost each ballpark?
Not off the top of my head.
No, okay. I just know that's what we budgeted last year, so I just used the same number, continue to get them in. Manhole sealing is going to be a big deal. We jetted this year. That's a maintenance thing for the sewer, and we will do that again this year. Requires a maintenance of effort. The state requires it, so that's part of it. It's only smart to do as well. But we didn't do any sealing. The contractor said that the cost of the materials this year were through the roof, so we deferred on that just because, to save some money on that. And so we'll go back this coming year of 23 and hopefully seal up some more manholes, as well as we'll do some more jetting. We have to do either anywhere between a third and a quarter each year, kind of go through and keep that working nicely. We don't want any issues. There were some issues that was identified. We have some of the old taps, I guess is what you call them, Trevor, were they those things that were protruding into the pipe?
Oh, yeah, for the sewer?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sewer taps.
Now we put them on, it doesn't go inside, but the older ones, there was something that's sticking in it. So when they were jetting them, they were all in the way. So we anticipate we'll go through and we'll have those kind of rooted out of the way so that we can, I mean, that's just a built-in obstruction, which, I mean, I can't even fathom that, but okay, it is what it is. So we'll be chasing after that this year. So again, depending on where they are, that's going to be the older stuff, which is the lower end here. And we'll do that again this year, and that'll be an every year thing too. Jetting and trying to keep those manholes from having water intrusion and things like that. That's a big deal, because what that ends up doing is going into our sewer plant, which you think, okay, no big deal, but the way that works is there's all these little microorganisms that do this wonderful stuff, and they like pure stuff. And so when you dilute it with this nice fresh water, they don't like it as well. So it's a problem in that regard with our current system. But going forward, when we have to get a mechanical system, which is on the horizon, it'll cause us to have to increase the size of that to handle the quantity of water. It has to be sized correctly. And so if we have a ton of intrusion, and we do get that at times, especially with large runoffs, then that's going to require us to build a larger sewer plant, which is more expensive, which doesn't make any sense. So if we can get a handle on this end of it, it'll save us on the other end. But it's also part of just the maintenance that we have to do on that, which is required, but it also just makes total sense to do that. And we will continue to do that. I budgeted a lawnmower, a riding lawnmower. We pay $8,500 now to have somebody do it. I'm like, I could, in 1 year, recoup that going forward. So that's why that's in there. We've also programmed an air conditioner for the district office. We kind of suffered through a few days where we were in the 83 to 85 degrees in here. So we think it would be wise. I had to send people home a couple times early because it just got too hot. We did get fans and that helped, but it's still the temperatures when it's north of 80 degrees. It's not conducive to a safe work environment. So I budgeted that as well. And that'll be split. We talked about the lig truck and the snow plows. We've got $85,000 from this year, and then we budgeted additional $105,000 to make up that $190,000 for both of those. Those will be fully equipped Ford 550s, 4-wheel drive, sander, plow on them. That'll come with it. They're fully outfitted. They come with, I believe it's a 60,000 mile or 3 or 4 years guarantee on things. So that'll be very helpful. Those trucks will be used in the summer and any other time that's not snow as well. We're getting stake beds on them so we can put a lot of stuff on them or in them. And don't anticipate having any breakdowns in the first 5 years or so, which we seem to have. Yes, thank you, knock on wood. We have a lot of that. I mean, most of our vehicles are, really old, to be honest. Even the pickup truck. I think the truck that I drive is the newest one at 2019, which is great. Other than that, I don't know what's the next newest one. Trevor, do you know off the top of your head?
Flatbed.
What?
Yeah, our new Chevy, the flatbed, that's a 2020 or 2021.
Oh,
We got
you
it
just
last
got
year,
it?
brand new.
Oh,
Last-
well, I didn't
last
know
year.
that. I stand corrected. Those are our two newest vehicles. And other than that, they drop off dramatically. That gray one and the tap truck and what else we got in there? There's another 250 in there. They're getting beat up. So those are all, we'll plan on that. I've also budgeted vehicle replacement, which hasn't been a line item in the past. So I'm trying to put money in each month, or not month, each year to build up. So every couple of years, we might be able to purchase a vehicle without having that big hit like we are right now with 190,000. So that's the idea on that. That's kind of the overview of what I have, and I'm happy to answer or try and answer any questions I might have, the board may have.
I have a question. You're putting the 5% for raises for all the employees, but you did not include yourself. So,
That's because I'm on a contract. I'm not an hourly employee.
so we handle that differently.
Yep,
So that doesn't go in the budget.
I guess it could, but when I budgeted, it was for just the staff.
Okay, well, I guess we need to figure out how we cover that. If that's not in the budget, then.
Well, we'll know that. That's at the end of the year, so that's something we'll have a better handle on. We can deal with that, I think.
You're saying if we approve this budget as proposed, then we can accommodate whatever we need to do with regards to your salary.
I think so.
Okay. Chris, Corey,
No. It's a sound budget. And we discussed a long time the increases, but they're necessary.
And I'm pretty sure we did, we also, for merit-based raises, budgeted in the allotment for that too, right? I don't remember if we,
A little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's generally, it's not, it'd have to be like 5.00
well, yeah,
something or other, but yeah, it was considered, let's put it that way. But this 5% we're talking about is a COLA, that's a cost of living versus a merit.
yeah, I'm fully.
Okay, right. No, I just want to make sure anybody else who's listening, they're clear on what that is. And the rationale on that obviously is, one is to stay competitive, and two is that we have consumer price index was up 8-9% this year. So I think in my view, that was a reasonable accommodation. But
His salary is in the budget though. So.
yeah,
his salary's in the budget is what you're saying, but there's no increase for his salary in the budget is what you're also saying.
it's in there enough.
Okay,
I feel confident.
you're
with
just
that.
saying there's enough flexibility in the budget that won't be an issue.
Correct.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions about the budget as proposed? Derek, do you have any questions?
No questions. No, I think it's just when I hear balanced budget, given where we're at with everything, the cost of everything, inflation, all that good stuff. I mean, I know we have to put some big capital projects on hold, but I think this is kind of just one of those. Next year just might be kind of a weather it for a year, try to get through, and hopefully things improve. Inflationary wise and things like that. So it's, I mean, a lot of hard work. Well done. I mean, balanced budgets. Got to do what you got to do. So
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Point out one other thing on the property taxes, because they only do the assessment every other year. So it's almost the exact same number. We're only getting like 20-some $1,000s more this year in property taxes, or next year, as it is this year. The 2024 budget, I expect there will be a pretty good adjustment, but this year it's ostensibly the same.
And you check that.
Yep. I'm going to mention another thing, just because I don't know if that's come up. I know I've mentioned it to a couple of board members, is water and sewer are enterprise funds. Enterprise funds, kind of by definition, are supposed to support themselves.
Sewer can, the water can,
That's not what I'm saying. No, neither one of them are doing it now. We allocate property tax to both of them. And I checked, I've never seen that before, but I checked with our attorney. He said, yes, it's legal to do that. But my point being, they're supposed to support themselves. They don't. We're throwing, I won't say throwing, we're contributing, let me find this. Water is getting how much property tax? $155,000 in property tax. Water. Sewer is getting 201,000, almost $202,000. That's something to consider. I mean, I don't know, every city I've ever worked at, enterprise funds are, in fact, that's what, by definition, what they are. They support themselves. I worked at the city of Oceanside. The Harbor District was a district. It was an enterprise fund for the city, and we supported ourselves with, we got no general fund, no money of any kind from the city. You can continue down that. As I said, it's legal, I checked, but it's something to consider down the road when you're looking at fees and things like that.
Those taxes could be spent better elsewhere versus subsidizing a fund that's supposed to generate its own money.
like roads, like the 26 miles that we have of roads and stuff. Is
Yeah.
that what we're saying?
Well,
That.
Like only use
the
a couple
capital
miles.
improvement projects.
Capital projects.
You know,
We've got the rec building that you want to do, lake things, you want it up here. Those are sort of things that you might be able to do if that money was in the general fund where it's supposed to be.
And having that money in the bank makes it easier to secure certain grants, because a lot of grants you have to have a match.
So what I hear you saying then is potentially raise the rates on the sewers and the water. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, they're already going up. I mean,
And
the board-
we're already on fixed incomes.
and everybody is.
Well, not everybody,
I'm on a fixed income.
not everybody.
I think what he's trying to say is down the road, it's something that we need to discuss.
Yeah.
I don't think he's necessarily proposing we do anything different.
No, not now.
It opens opportunities,
All right.
and so it's just something.
Just
needs
that
to
it's
discuss
been-
down the road.
13 years and we didn't have any increases, and shame on the board then, or in between.
Mhm.
And now the residents are having to come up with the funds and stuff to try to make it all balance out in the future. And so it's kind of a real slap in the, the pocketbook
Oh,
for
no question.
a good share. And maybe in the future, it won't be so long, 13 years is a long time, but yeah, I want to be careful with that.
Once we get.
It's up to the board.
Once we get to where we need to be, it's not gonna be a 10% or 15%. You might see a 3% or a 5% increase over a certain amount of years. Right now, we just really have to get caught back up to where we're actually in the positive, where we're not spending down our reserves and.
Well, I kind of hear that we may be the leader of the pack when employment comes too, that based upon the wages that we're paying versus like what the highway department is paying, like the new people coming aboard, and I think they feel too. We start some of our folks at a pretty good wage that is either competitive or even a little bit higher, which is good. I want our employees to stick around, especially if they're good employees. But at what point do we say, we don't need to leave it so far that we're above Edgemont and everybody else? I mean, we don't have those kind of roads, and we don't have those kind of people that can afford those kind of fees.
I don't know. what
And that's
the-
my voice. That's just me speaking up. And
I get what you're saying. And yeah, maybe we don't have to be the leader in employee wages. But if you want to keep decent employees that actually know how to run the equipment, you're not trying to train somebody every 2 years because they went and found a job that paid more. You want to stay in the ballpark. of
competitive,
everybody else.
yeah.
We lost good employees for $5 an hour. You know, we're just trying to stay competitive. They went to Durango, and that was the difference. $5 an hour.
One thing to look at is certainly at our shop, our longest tenured employee is 8 years. Then it drops off to 2 or 3.
Not very much.
Yeah,
Very
and
long.
so we would love to be able to stabilize that and keep those folks, get into the routine, develop some institutional knowledge, which is so valuable. Tim, who's been here 8 years, has just an enormous amount of stuff, and it's great, but we need to get more people. We can't have one person that,
All that knowledge.
yeah, and, you know, we need to get it out, transfer, put it on paper. There's a whole lot of things go with that, but just having people that consistently know what to do. And it's a challenge when they have to keep, we were down 2 people this summer for 3 months. I mean, it was getting ugly.
So are we gonna be able to cover our road maintenance, basically on this new budget? I mean, we didn't budget that accurately evidently last year, as I understand. Are we looking to do better this next year?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
We're gonna do better, but we're still gonna be in a
Under,
deficit, yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah.
can't catch up that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some areas
We
that are-
wanted to move it up $25 to $25. And thought, well, we'll do it to 20, but that's what we need and still.
So we're trying to gradually step it up because we realize we can't just make up
In
the
one
whole
step.
deficit
In
in
one
one
month,
budget.
yeah.
Yeah, we didn't want to lynch mob.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're still, if we do this budget at 20, it's $348,000 in the budget. The expenditures are 417. So it's closing the gap, but it's still in the hole. But it's better if we do this. I think, you know, we'll look at it, you know, every year. It's just, it's been an ongoing thing. I've looked through the years on the revenue and expenditures. It's been that way for years.
Guess it depends on how much rain we get too.
And snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we don't get a lot of rain,
Yeah.
the roads, we won't have to put as much leg down.
Yeah.
They'll last longer.
The other thing is on the roads, it's like if we have a big snow year, and we got a lot of OT going into it, that'll skew things as well. But I can't know that. Just like you said, I can't also know if we're gonna have a lot of rain. We can guess, but so that's why these budgets are, they call them living documents. And regardless, and I think we talked about this before, this is something that can always be changed. So whatever you adopt next month, come in March, for some reason, something happens, you could bring it up, you could amend the budget. It can always be done at any time, and it can be done as many times as you want in any given year. I'm not encouraging that, but to say, if it has to happen, you can. It's not like we're stuck with something that's not working for some reason. Again, I hope that doesn't happen, but it could. And I just want to give you some confidence that you're not stuck with something, that if it's not working out, or we have some emergency that we have to do, something, could spend,
Reallocate funds.
yeah, do that or take money out of reserves or something. It changes the budget. We can do that.
We're not bankrupt.
No, do we need to open this up to the public now?
They-
Yeah, well, I was gonna ask, does anybody else have any questions first? Is there any other comments among the board members? Derek, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, then I'm going to open for public comment this public hearing on the draft 2023 budget to anybody that has comments or questions.
No one was.
Okay, I am not seeing any interest in making any comments or asking questions at this point. I am going to close the meeting or this public hearing to any comments. I'm going to go ahead and make a recommendation that we put this on the agenda for final approval for next month.
I have a question. I haven't been able to figure out how to push the buttons. If I could ask a question real quick.
Sure, we'll entertain it.
I'm Debbie. I'm wondering why you had to drain so much water off of our lake for a pipe that was supposed to be fixed. And I think what I heard earlier was that's going to happen somewhere else down the line, that this infamous pipe will be fixed. Is that the
Okay,
case?
if I could, Debbie, we will attempt to get back with you before the end of this meeting and we can address it quickly at the end. But that is off topic for the budget hearing, so I need to, at this point, defer your question to later.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm recommending that we add this to the agenda for final approval for next month.
Number 12.
Yeah, after December 12th, for our board meeting, yes.
The 13th.
So do we need to make a motion for this? And we just add it.
You have the resolution next month.
I got the two. Now, hang on, let's get the date right.
Let me look at a calendar. It is the 13th.
The 13th, okay.
That's a mistake. This one's right. Okay, so the next meeting, the 13th, so
Okay, so that-
agendize that for adoption and the accompanying resolutions. Let's
Okay,
go with that.
okay. Okay, and at this point,
Now we have B.
well, this is the new business.
Still in the new
Yeah,
business.
we're in the business, so. But I'm going to close the public hearing for the draft 2023 budget now, and we will move on with the agenda.
Regular agenda.
Yes, the regular agenda.
Thank you.
Okay. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna deviate momentarily since Debbie asked the question a
Sure.
moment ago. Can we address that for Debbie before we move on?
Absolutely. First of all, we didn't drain the lake. We've never let any water out of that other than we tested it last month with the dam inspector. That's just natural lack of water coming in as well as evaporation.
No, you can't say that because you have let water out. And I live right here. And
Spring, nothing ran out that end of the lake. We didn't have enough water to let nothing ran out that lake. Nothing came in the creek. I walk it every day. There was not enough water to come in the other springs.
Now, they did take water out of the lake to fight the fire. That was about the only water that was removed from the lake that wasn't
How much?
Mother Nature.
5,500 gallons.
Yeah, it was like 5,000 gallons estimated, but yeah. But we've not let any out. I said, other than since I've been here, we had the dam inspector out last month and we had it open for 5 minutes and then we closed it. That was what he wanted to see. As far as the project goes, our engineer is going to be designing that after having that discussion with our dam engineer. not ours, the state's dam engineer in terms of what needs to be done. And that project, I doubt will get done next year. We're gonna hopefully get a grant for that, but the cost of that went up dramatically based on that conversation. It wasn't simply lining the pipe. Now we have to get that valve out of the bottom that's been in the water for 70 years. So we're waiting, we're gonna have a design done on that, but I don't anticipate doing anything next year, but potentially if things move along quickly, I don't know. And especially if we get a grant for that, then I would definitely, hopefully get that going.
Well, you had mentioned that, because of the weather, it's not putting water into the lake. There's also all the road work that's been going on that keep covering up the natural spring that come across into the lake. And now the pipes are full of mud and dirt and rocks. I mean, I just don't, I guess I don't quite understand.
I don't think the gutters, or what do we call them, things like the culverts, a lot, they run down. They
Well,
run down
some of
the
it runs
road.
in. I was looking at some today. There's some that do feed. There's two about 12-inch culverts that feed into the lake near the dam that
And
comes
then
from
on the other
on the
end,
mountain. And there's some water has come out of there, not much. I was looking at that actually today. I was kind of
I
working my
know,
way
I
up
saw
the
you.
mountain. I was working my way up the mountain, trying to trace it where it's coming from and see where there's some issues. And there are some issues, but the overwhelming majority of the water comes from the Little Bear Creek that comes in on the high side there of the thing. But definitely, you're right. Some water does come in from the other side there through those two little culverts that are near the dam. But it's not a significant amount. And but we do have to do some cleaning. There's no question. So I'm not denying that. But your point saying we let water out, and no, we didn't, is my point. It just really hasn't been going in the quantities necessary to maintain it versus the evaporation.
Okay,
I mean, I'm happy to meet with you and show you stuff.
I've already asked, I've sent you a couple emails to meet me on this end of the lake, but I never got a response.
I don't recall seeing those, but I'd be happy to do that. I don't know. I don't recall ever seeing an email from you. So if you did, I apologize, but I'm happy to meet you almost any time there.
Okay, how about tomorrow?
I don't have my schedule in front of me. Can we
Yeah.
talk tomorrow and then maybe
Sure.
when I know a little more?
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Debbie.
okay, we're gonna get back to new business. The next item on the new business is the lien certification to approve the implementation of liens against certain properties for delinquent monies.
Would you like
Is
to?
that-
A larger copy?
Yeah, is that the same as this resolution?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that is the resolution.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want me to give you a little explanation of what's going on or not, your choice.
You can go ahead. It's resolution 2022-06, subjects of delinquent fees certification for county collection, and you can address it in more depth there.
Thank you. Yeah, the certification is something we do through the county. It happens once a year. They do this. And what that does is we have liens for people that don't pay various fees, whether it's water, sewer, roads, what have you. And we have currently outstanding $15,563 in liens. This particular one, the resolution for certification, the rules require that we can only include water and sewer. I'm not entirely sure why, but that's just the way the code reads, so that's what we're going with. And just so everyone understands that we're not just doing this willy-nilly. In order to have the first lien, which we'll call the normal ones, which we have on a number of other properties, the payment has to be 60 days past due and be over $150. So it has to meet both criteria for us to consider doing a lien. So these all have. We send them a letter called the intent to lien, and we give them 10 days to make good on that. So we don't do it until after the 10 days. Then we will file the lien, which is one that just goes to the county recorder's office. It's not like this certified one. And then if the property sells or something else, or someone decide to pay it, they can, and then we release the lien. At this point, the certified liens are ones that go on the property tax because they've not done it for so long and they've been of a significant amount of money. Right now, we have 4 properties and the total is $2,400. But because the county takes a chunk out of it, we collect it all, we're only going to get $1,800 out of that. But what that does is that reserves our spot. If the property is even sold with a treasurer's sale, we will still get our funds by certifying this. And so again, it's only once a year that we can do this. So we're taking our opportunity to do that this year with these 4. We're still working through some of these other ones that we have a substantial amount of money outstanding. And there's some issues that have come up that we're trying to work our way through. But for now, we have these 4 totaling $2,406.31. And staff recommends approving resolution 2022-6 for certification of delinquent fees.
And I do want to add that all these procedures are in accordance with the Colorado revised statutes. So we're following the state law as far as the process we're using.
Correct.
And so these 4 are the ones that this month meet that requirement to officially certify.
That is correct.
Okay. So,
I will move that we adopt resolution 2022-06.
Second,
okay, Corey,
I,
okay, Derek.
In favor? Aye.
Okay, and I'm in favor too, so the resolution has been approved. And I will sign that at the end of this meeting, so that that's officially taken care of.
Okay.
Okay, disbursements.
Can I have 2 new business.
Oh, you
Things I
have
wanna
some new
talk
business,
to
yes,
you, yeah.
okay.
I want to ask the board how they feel about an idea I have. As Julie said before, communication, we've talked about a board, a board out here. How about the end of the year, state of the district holiday letter? I'm happy to write it. We talk about what happened this year. And we've got a lot of great things that happened this year. This building, a new manager. And talk about the snow plowing issues. It would probably cost about $1 a letter, postage and the letter. So I don't know if we need to do it. That would be $900, right? We have about 900 residents we need to send this out to.
We can do that.
I want to know if we think it's worth that. Remember, we used to have a newsletter?
Yeah, I think the last one was back in,
It's-
March of 2018 or
It's
2019,
been a
where
while,
they
right.
actually had
Right.
newsletters that would go
Oh,
out.
wow, right.
Um,
And I'm thinking, end of the year, include whatever you want to include, whatever. you think
Accomplishments
is-
and some of
the
the
things that,
issues that came
get
up.
some things
Yeah.
that people are like, because we only have a certain amount of space on the bill.
Right.
So the impact to the staff would be, well, first of all, there's the budget hit, and it's not huge, but there's an expense. And the second thing is the staff would probably have to wind up stuffing envelopes.
Do you remember, we used to get just a folded up letter with this tape on the top or
right.
whatever? Can we
Right.
still mail something like that? Why not that? No envelopes.
Actually don't know the answer to that.
Can we,
We can check with it.
Jamie, can we have a mailing list that has, I call them lick 'em, stick 'ems. A label that we put right on
a piece of folded.
Yes, we can do that.
So would that be limited to residents or all property owners? In the past, those things went to all property owners.
Okay,
So that's much more than 800 and some. It'd be 1,200 some probably.
what else do we send to property owners? I think it has to be everybody, but that's,
We could still accommodate that financially.
I like that idea, but we send out a monthly newsletter in the town.
okay.
And this one, maybe we have to mail, but I know I've got, Shauna's working on, with the new system that we might be able to email that out
Okay,
in the future.
in
We're,
the future, all right,
she's working through, found some problems, and this is the constant communication back and forth,
yeah,
how to make that work. God,
right.
700 email addresses, but making that all work, we're not quite sure. But we're gonna have that in place in the not too distant future.
I might even suggest we do it quarterly,
Okay,
otherwise you're not getting such a big one at the end of the year, because I think it's all big things away.
well, that's what I'm saying, don't even open up an envelope, just steal a little thing, open it up, and I can have like little poinsettias or bells or snowflakes or something. We can, do we have a copy, a color copier?
We
Or
do.
print or something?
Yes, we do.
Make it look nice so people will be engaged. And like I said, all our great accomplishments, things what we want to talk about, like Julie says, how do we know not to park on the roads?
Besides the
Yeah.
signs and stuff.
Yeah, well,
Just saying, you know,
I
the obvious.
I'm
And
trying to
the no parking.
communicate,
Yeah, no,
Which is good, no,
but
I like
I can
it.
send out a draft, everyone can add what they want. Are you?
I like
up
the
for that?
idea. I see this as being a volunteer position. You are volunteering now. I think to continue in the future, we would have to anticipate the same thing, because that's placing quite a burden on the staff. And they're already busy, so we're not. want to
I'd be
place
happy to
staff
come in
on those.
and fold and do whatever we need. You know, and we got enough time before, you know, send it out in December.
I like the idea.
I'd be
I'm
happy to
not
help as
asking-
well. I'd be happy to help as well.
Oh, thank you.
And there may be other people that would be willing to help that too.
Okay,
I think it would be appreciated, but I think if we keep pushing for getting everyone's email addresses in the future, we'll be
absolutely.
able to kind of send out the vast majority of them electronically,
Yeah.
unless that we can't, then we limit the number of the paper copies we even have to make. So I like the idea.
Can't get my wife back, I volunteer her.
Okay,
Here,
So,
I'll have one.
Since this is a voluntary thing, do we
Yeah.
need to approve this? Do we need to make a
You
motion?
wanna do it? No, it's not, it wasn't an agendized item, but.
Okay.
okay.
You
So
wanna
Derek, do
do
you
it?
have any comments on that?
To go along with that, you could have a accomplishment section on your website as well. So you'd have paper going out to people, you'd have emails, you'll have an accomplishment on your website, just to kind of get everybody that has different communication styles.
Yeah, you could do that too.
Yeah.
You can
Post
copy
that,
it
yeah.
on the website.
Yeah, even when we have anniversaries of employment, you know, Trevor's been here, you know, it's his anniversary in June or whatever. That would be, you know.
I see him
I'm
spinning
just-
his pencil there.
I'm just using him as an example, you know, and then I even might put something in there that says, this year in April, we'll have another board election. You know, try and get as much correct as we can
Yeah, so
put in
let
this.
people know in
so they
advance to
know.
start thinking.
Yes, people said, I didn't know about the election.
Yeah.
So,
So
okay.
Derek, do you have any comments on that idea? Okay.
They used to be
Shaking his
posted
head
on the
no.
I don't,
website.
Mark, no.
Way back when.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yes. The second new business I want to talk about, I want to call it Mitigation Day. Next spring, maybe get some civic youth groups. Do they still have girls, boys clubs in town? Do they have Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts? Maybe get the fire mitigation people. And one, they used to have at the community center a like a cookout. And I'm saying, instead of doing a cookout and handing out stuff, that was very good. Get people to help work. And what I selfishly want to do is remove the rocks at the end of the lake so I could pull a truck in there to mitigate behind my property. Because it's a pain in the neck to go through my fence, up the, and to get it to our trailer. I'd love to mitigate behind, my property there. And people maybe in the green areas would also want to do that. Get Boys and Girl Scouts involved. I'd love to say on this weekend or 2 weekends or the week or whatever, encourage the mitigation.
You're talking about on metro property?
Yes, that would be the green areas are metro, around the lake are metro, but cut down some of the bur oaks that are there. We don't have beavers anymore that used to come out and help mitigate, or get goats and post them out there and have them eat the grass. I'm just saying, I don't know, it could be evolved into something we do twice a year. And with other areas, the park area.
So it sounds like you're talking about another volunteer activity. So it would take
Okay.
somebody wanting to spearhead that. It sounds like that's what you're proposing.
Yes,
Am I correct? And you're just asking if the district would have any concerns about permitting.
right. And then maybe get Derek involved. He knows who runs the Boys and Girl Scouts in the schools. If they're part
Do
of
they
that.
have to have volunteer hours? Did they do that here?
I don't think so.
I'm used to that, where
Yeah.
there were schools required X amount of volunteer hours to
Yeah.
graduate. I don't know if they do that here or not, but,
I don't know, maybe even get the college people involved. I don't know if
it's
they,
worth fleshing out that
remember,
idea.
yes, we used to have to, for honor society, you had to volunteer. That was part of it. I don't know if they still do that. What's the National Honor Society?
Yeah.
NHS. Had to do that. There's their hours.
My kids, just regular,
Yeah,
all seniors
Did it.
had to have
Okay.
X number of hours of volunteer, had to be signed off.
yeah.
That was
I mean,
part of their
it's-
requirements.
It's not a very big school.
It may not be here,
but-
yeah, so I
Yeah.
don't know. That's just a thought,
Yeah.
that's a bigger pool of potential candidates, if that's a requirement,
That's
but it
just
may not be.
something I thought, put it on the books.
There are probably groups that somebody could speak to if somebody wanted to add it up. And again, I guess they would have to coordinate with a manager of Metro District.
Yeah, see what projects, we'd have to develop some projects and think,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you want to do this one or that one, whatever. Yeah,
yeah, and then probably speaking with our attorney too, just to make sure that we're on.
Liability type.
Yeah.
thing,
yep. Volunteers,
So
or insurance.
so it
work.
sounds like that's
Yeah.
something that could potentially be accommodated. It's something you'd have to approach the manager with. If
And the
you have
attorney,
the
yeah.
project scoped and then
okay.
you could address
There's a
it.
lot more to that one.
Yeah. I don't think that will be officially sanctioned. I don't think that's within the purview of the metric.
Okay.
Metro, so,
All righty, thank you.
Mhm.
okay. Okay, disbursements. Ari,
I would like to make a motion to approve August disbursement from 10/1 to 11/1/2022 in the amount of $110,953.29.
okay, and I'll second that.
Great.
Okay, Derek, you good with that?
I'm good at that.
Okay, it's unanimous. We have approved the disbursements for the month. That is it. Are there any last comments anybody has?
I'm just saying, Julie, if you want it on the website, I'm Carissa. If you want to, I think it's carissaflmd@gmail. Send me your information and I'll let you know when the letter's ready.
Sure. Do you want me to send it to the FLMD email?
It's carissa@FLMD.
Okay,
at Gmail, and then I'll get that. Thank you. And then it's something you can even take a pile, take it home, bring it back.
sure.
Okay, and Jamie, do you think it'll go through the meter all right?
If it doesn't, we can run labels through the meter and then stick the labels on
Okay,
Either ink
On it,
or.
the
paper.
flyer.
and I won't bother you, I'll do it all.
Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. I am gonna call for adjournment.
I made a motion.
I guess we need to make a motion. I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Okay,
I.
Eric?
Aye.
Okay, I show that it's 8:45 and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thanks, everyone, for coming.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everybody.
All right, Amy, go ahead and turn that off now. Thank you.